Ayo fam, it's your boy Nkosi, and in this episode of Unpacking Roots and Routines, I'm here with Helena, and we want to understand what it entails to find a sense of belonging. What are some of those identifiers? What are the identities or things that people relate to the most? We want to nail down what matters the most, so stay tuned and stay with us throughout this episode.
So it's like, what matters to us the most? Is it geography? Is it language? Is it culture? And like, even in culture, there's a lot. Because even within your specific country, there are maybe people you relate to with the most when you identify them, like maybe abroad or even within the country. And then is it like the same hobbies or activities that you like to do? Or is it politics? Is it, it comes down to a lot of pieces. So I want to nail it down. Like let's rank it.
I would say like being born in Malawi, Tumbuka, which is not the dominant sort of like tribe, if I should call it, in Malawi. I would say it's not the most dominant ethnicity. Like the most dominant is Chewa. That's where we get Chichewa from, our national language. But I would say there has been, within the country, I did feel it, like in the sense of like, oh, maybe like when I was transitioning to like boarding schools, like, oh, here are other people who are like Tumbukas. And the good thing is that I think because the school was also located where the Tumbukas live, I didn't really like the guys who came from like the Southern and Central, they were a bit more outliers than I was. But then you could see that when you travel to the Central and South, like that difference, because the language is slightly different. Like you can hear.
If you come across two Malawians.
Yeah. In the US?
Yeah, in the
like,
US.
Okay.
Or like, let's say outside of Malawi.
Yeah.
And they are from the two different regions you just mentioned. What do you think would be not different for each, but like who would you lean towards the most? And
I would lean towards the one who likes Malawian music the most.
Okay, so that's not a bad answer, because that's what I was trying to identify, like based on just region or tribe or ethnicity. If you don't without knowing the person, right? Because we didn't base this off of like two people that you knew.
Yeah.
So the fact that you didn't give like, oh, I lean towards that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't very sure you're gonna say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like I guess even like being here in the States and stuff, you don't really meet a lot of like Malawians.
Yeah, you could.
And I personally, I haven't really like met someone who's like Tumbuka, like where I'm from type of situation. Most of them are like from the other regions that I said we kind of are different. Within the country, you can feel the difference. It's not too extreme, but like you would know, because it's like the language, it's a bit heavier, the other one is, and it's a bit, you gotta eat. You gotta eat before you can like talk. But I think here it's just one of those things where the thing I've noticed, like everyone leaving Malawi, well, not everyone, but like most people who leave Malawi, they all, for some reason, have a connection with like our football team. Like we don't have the best soccer team in the world out there.
What best team do you have?
We have.
Okay, we're gonna cut that.
We're gonna.
Yeah. That was just a very personal attack. I did not throw shade.
We have the best living environment. Yeah, I'll put that there for now.
That's another topic.
That's another topic for another day. But the people, we have the best people. But let's segue back to what we were saying. But as I was saying, like I remember I went for this Pan-African event in Phoenix, and I was actually wearing like the Malawian Flames jersey, which I'm not wearing right now. But randomly in the crowd, I saw another guy wearing the Malawian Flames jersey, and I was like, bro, like
That's the best moments.
Like it was like just one of those moments. I'm like, wait, I thought I was the only one. And then you're like, because it's not like one of those things where you would find people speaking Chichewa or find people speaking Tumbuka, like randomly, especially here in Arizona. Like I've never overheard a conversation where I can hear the person. Like I've heard Shona from Zimbabwe. Right now we're like 21 million, somewhere around there. We're growing. We're growing. Yeah.
It's like 1/6.
I guess.
Population.
But I think it's also like the numbers also have to do with like, okay, how many people are like actually,
abroad?
Exactly.
Where would you say is like the biggest Malawian population outside of Malawi?
I would say South Africa.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I would say South Africa, especially I would say like Southern Africa, like the
like
countries
other countries
bordering, but especially South Africa. I would say you have like a larger presence of like you could have a community, like you could have a housewarming. Yeah, I don't think if I had a housewarming, there'll be another.
Like you get that guy from the event.
Yeah, I'll get the. He's actually back in Malawi. That's the sad part. Yeah. We're back to one person. But I think it's one of those things where it's like when we met, now it was just a matter of like, I think what made us click, as I said, music, but then also like food. Like before music, I'll put food. Just one of those things where, because like in as much as I said, there are differences in like our language and maybe just representation, I feel like we all eat the same stuff, so. And the event I went to, it was like a Pan-African, people were like showcasing different like foods from different places. And we stopped by a couple and it was like, like we could relate like, no, it's not slapping like the way we would have it back home type of situation. So that was cool, just seeing that like you can actually overlook all those other things that like we actually put in front of us. Because if you think of language, it's just like a means of communication and nothing bigger. Like
I disagree right there. It's language for me.
Language?
Yes. Because especially...
language is what brings you to your people.
Yes.
Because
it might also be that, like, is English your...
Yeah, it's our official language.
Yeah, so it's like maybe that... Okay, let me say, if someone speaks to you in Chichewa...
Yeah.
And they're not Malawian...
Yeah.
Wouldn't that hit different?
That will hit different, but... I don't know how far that would go.
I mean, you're gonna have to discover. But
okay, true.
I mean, the food, sure, okay. My sister has a food channel, so she's all about food bringing like the culture, like everything, the language, everything centers around food. That's her theory, and I agree. But also, to make my case, right? I think language. I don't know. It's because like Ethiopians, we speak Amharic, and like Ethiopia is the only country that speaks it. That brings us like, that's one unique thing we share as a nation. And then there's this like, Amharic is my first language. So whenever I find people that I can speak Amharic with, it's like, you've seen those reels where you have different personalities in different languages. I feel like that's true. And it really brings out a person's personality. And you can like express yourself fully without the limitations of language barriers or, those even like expressions that you do or whatever. So I think that comes with, the language. And when I speak to someone who is Ethiopian or who is Habesha, for me, that's that, it's like that brings you together, that connects you instantly. Or if you even meet like the same question I asked you, like if you meet someone who's not Ethiopian, but they throw like some words, I'm already like hooked. I'm like, wait, how did you learn that? And it's like, it unlocks a whole different level. And I think that's like, I would bet that's like the number one thing that brings the Habesha community together. Yeah,
I would say, I don't know, maybe because like for me personally, I found myself in places where like there are multiple languages being used at the time. So like, I don't know, living in South Africa for a minute, like, of course, English is like the official language, but then they had Zulu, they had Afrikaans. And these were languages that I could like speak to an extent because I studied them in school, but like that was like for grades. I wasn't really learning it as a means of communication that like, oh, I'm actually going to meet someone who speaks Afrikaans and we're going to chat and go hiking and, you know, I couldn't even go that far.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you don't have to learn it to like speak it fully and communicate. It's just like, I mean, it's a form of communication, right? But you use it just enough to like, you know, show that you care about the culture and not just you've been there, but you have to like show some sort of appreciation towards the culture and the people if you go to the length of learning their language. You don't just do it, oh, yeah, I've been there, so I might as well pick up a few words. But it's like, you're going to learn it because you want to learn about them. And whenever you're presented with an opportunity that though someone doesn't speak any other language but that, then that comes in handy. Like we have this, what do you call it? Like a saying, I'm gonna butcher the translation, but it says something like, a language is gonna help you cross a river. And it's not gonna make sense in English, I think. Even in American, I don't know what it means, but it kind of...
What's the boat?
Yeah, even on a boat, it's gonna help you cross because, I mean, that's kind of picturing like a very tough situation, right? Crossing a river. And if you just know a few words, like whoever is gonna enable that, it's just gonna give you like that green light. Be like, I got you. So, yeah, language is the key.
Yeah, I like language. I mean, I can speak 3 languages like fluently right now.
I speak 4.
Okay, she's bragging, but I'll
what?
Thank you, Duolingo. Thank you, Duolingo.
It's true. What do you mean I'm bragging? You said you speak 3. I said 4.
Okay, it's true. She's not bragging. But then again, big shout out to Duolingo. I feel like for me, it's more or less like when I find myself in a different community. I don't know, maybe it's because I don't really find the people I would naturally cling with. When I go to like other places, I'm just naturally inclined to like learn more about them and like just their way of living, you know, how they do things, why they do things, and if there's a common language that we can use to converse. I'll keep that and just pretty much like learn how to like the polite, you know, how to greet, how to ask, you know, like as a tourist-ish.
No, we're tourists.
As a tourist-ish. Like okay, those common questions.
Let's bring us back to the list because now I think we touched on language. Yeah.
I think food.
I know, I was going to say that next if I don't forget. But food.
Music,
but involves the language. But sure, music. In a way. I mean, that's one.
Okay, maybe that's how I translate language.
I mean, South African music, it's no lyrics until the very 1 minute.
But so, there is some lyrics in it.
Yeah, so maybe music is more about...
Even the beat is a language.
Yeah, as a musician,
I'll
throw more lights.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else connects us?
I don't know, like...
That divides us.
Common goals, I guess.
But I feel like the same things we're talking about are like the main things that connects us are the ones that divide us.
How does food divide people?
Didn't you see that person that didn't like injera? That's a disrespect right there.
Okay,
not a disrespect, but I mean, I don't want to take it personal, but I take it personal.
I mean, okay, but they weren't from where you're from.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole conversation, right? We're trying to identify, like, why are you more drawn to, like, find people, and you kind of end up, like, when you're in a room, and at least, let me speak for myself, right? If I'm in a room with more Africans, with like, a lot of diverse people, but you find me in the African corner, or then it's like an African room, and then there are more Habesha people, and you find me maybe like most.
Let's say you're in a room, and it's an event.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it's a wedding, and the guy's getting married.
Where are they from?
the person getting married, let's think of it as a sort of like a
wedding is tricky because like very cultured into something, so it's hard to.
Yeah, but okay. Let's say it's a Western wedding, right?
Fine.
Where I don't know, the groom is American, the bride is from give or take Ghana, and now she has friends from both the Habesha community and the African community, where she's invited.
African, where are you?
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me yet. Okay. But then it's like she's close knit with like the African network, whereby she has friends from like West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa. And for some reason, the West Africans and Southern Africans have found a table or a couple of tables, like 3 tables, round tables close to each other. And then she has friends from, Ethiopia too. And then they also have like 3 tables. My question is, where would you sit?
I don't know anybody. Because if I know someone, I'm going to go to
okay,
someone, regardless of where they're from. 2
people on each side.
How well do I know these 2 people?
You know them well enough. You both went to college together with these 2 sets.
No, this is a very... No, I don't think you should have come up with a very simple scenario. Because this one, like if I already went to school with them, I already have some sort of friendship with them. So maybe I'm more friends with one person than the other. So I would go to whoever I'm.
Also, in this case, you would rather go
if I know
where
people,
you're more
I think the scenario I was
with.
trying to paint was when we're new to a space. Like it can be a country, it can be a room, a party, like when you go into a space where you don't know people, you're trying to like get to know people, you're trying to find something you associate with. Like you're drawn to someone in a way.
That's true.
Right? And I'm trying to identify what that is. Like if you know someone, I think that's an easy like default. Like you're just like, oh, I know that person, I'm just gonna go sit next to that person. But if you don't know them and you're trying to find like a community or something that can like remind you of not home, but like, you know what I mean? Just like something you can relate with. That's what I was trying to paint earlier. So if I walk into a room and I see like a few Africans, I was like, oh, let me go and like try to strike a conversation because I'm going to have an easy, like, I mean, obviously you're going to have common things with different people regardless of where they're from, but just by the virtue of like, identifying an African, I know I can go and be like, hey, where are you from? And they'll tell me and I would know something about where they're from, or like I can say, oh, I'm from here, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like there's already that commonality and it makes it easier. So that's how you kind of find your community. And then that's why I said like now it's like a room full of Africans and I see like Habesha people, like, oh hi, are you Habesha? Like I'm from Ethiopia, you know what I mean? So like it drills down to specific things that bring out the most. So obviously I think we talked about like region and like culture, and then like even now they're Ethiopian. And then it doesn't mean like you're gonna end up being like best friends with that person.
I mean,
because like you'll find a room full of that, and then maybe the Habesha people are not even like your clique. So to the next best option.
Next best option. Ooh, that sounds like.
I knew this was gonna sound bad, and I just said it
anyway
anyway because I'm trying to bring us back. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, what's that natural? I mean, it's our natural instincts. Like we're raised seeing those same people, and I think it's the upbringing. Like I grew up in Addis in Ethiopia. That's why I'm saying these things. But if you ask another Habesha person who was raised here, maybe they'll have a different story. I mean, their household is dominantly like a Habesha household, but they're exposed like, in a more like, they spend their time mostly with non-Habesha people. So their approach would be a bit different. But that's kind of how I process or like find my way.
Does that approach disturb you? I'm just asking.
Disturbing? Which my approach disturbs me?
No, the second approach where it's like just based off of like, being, because it's one of those things where it's like, I've seen some people like be like, oh, cause you're not like Malawian enough type of situation, just because like not Malawian enough, but like
You're as Malawian as it gets.
I don't think Malawian is a bit, but like, I think I'm doing a good job representing.
Let's give you that.
Country.
Sure.
But yeah, I would say like it's just one of those things where I guess even when I speak Chichewa or like Chitumbuga, like in as much as I speak it like well enough to like strike a conversation, it's just one of those things where because I think I've been speaking English for like a very long time, there's a bit of an accent in it, you know, a little bit.
Okay.
A tiny bit.
How do we tell him? How do we tell him?
Don't tell me. But I think this is something that like I experienced even before coming to the States. You know, even when I like transitioned from South Africa to Malawi, at that point, I didn't even know how to speak Chichewa or Chitumbuka. I was hard because all I could speak was English. I knew a bit of Zulu and Afrikaans, but like Zulu and Afrikaans isn't spoken in Malawi, and English was like only in school. So like when I'm outside of school, it's like if my mom wasn't around, I didn't really have a translator, you know. And thanks to Google now, that wouldn't be an issue. But back to my point of like, even after I learned the language, because it's like I would use the rules of English to speak that language, there were certain times where like the W is like wa. Like we have there are certain ways you pronounce like certain words where like when you read it at face value, like using English, it's like, you know, the vowels are even like A, E, I, O, U. Mm-hmm. Whereas like in the native Bantu languages, it's like A, E, I, O, U. So when you see an A, it's not A, it's like A, you know? Yeah. So I guess like one of those things where it's like, I would have to like think, translate, and then say it. Yeah. And that delay kind of was like, what's up with this guy? And it's like, now the conversation's on something else. I'm like, wait. Let me, you know.
You literally came back to my point about language. And that's like a big part of identity. That's why even like for the Malawians at that point, you're not Malawian enough because language.
Even after I learned it, like to a point where I could like literally read it or like hold a conversation or like it reached a point I was only using English in class. I even bought a dictionary, like Chichewa to English and.
Are you one of those guys who studied the dictionary?
Not English though, just for Chichewa, because I needed to write it for my exams and that was the only way I was gonna pass. Because imagine not knowing of the language at all to like having to write it for your final exams. That was intense. So I really had to like, you know, commit to it. I don't think I've committed to something this much, but it was worth it, even though I dropped the course later on. But it's one of those things where it's like, even after learning the language and being in the country for like, at this point, 2 to 3 years, where I was like confident enough to like be speaking it, people could still hear that South African in me. And I think because it's like now even my preference for music didn't change much at that point. Like I was still vibing to like South African house. Like that was what, you know, I would listen to and but yeah. But it's one of those things where I think maybe that's why personally I feel like language cuts it, but like doesn't cut it ultimately, you know?
Yeah, I mean nothing ever ultimately like makes it the thing or like that's like the only, but we're trying to rank things and what's like high on the list. And
always
like,
language right now.
For me, it's number one.
For me,
because it's like if there's something, because I'm trying to also think about different interactions I've had with people where I was like interested to carry that conversation or get to know a person. I think it's mostly been the most surprising are always like language. If someone, especially someone unexpected, like knows Amharic or like throws in some, I don't know, like language related things. For me, it's like, it's not that, but it's like again, let me, I think, remind you. For me, it's like strangers. I think once you get to know the person and you know, you have obviously you know the person, so you know more things that you have like can relate to, can identify with or agree with or keep, you know, doing that hobby together with whatever. That's like a different level of knowing the person. So okay, that's ruled out. So it doesn't matter where they're from. Once you've cracked like how to, you know, make that friendship work or know that person. Yeah. But with strangers, I think that's where you gauge like, oh, this thing really mattered to me the most because it was so easy to relate with that person. Because at the end of the day, I think it's how how easy it is to relate with the person that makes it work.
Have the same celebrity you follow.
No, I can never relate with. I mean, I can hold like a quick conversation about it, but it's not like, oh my gosh, that's my guy. You know, I don't think you. That's one thing, but I don't think celebrities. No, forget about those ones. But
ouch. When I was on my way to getting there. Well, I still am.
Okay, let's. No, I can't remember what I was saying, but it was something very important.
It will.
Okay,
surface.
let's talk. Yeah, I was trying to say strangers.
Yeah.
And what you find
of common ground.
I think, because for me, it's like common ground that makes you see that person more, or like hang out, or identify, or keep in touch with the person in a way. So for me, it's always when someone like speaks the language, or like they say, "Oh, your shirt is Amharic," and I was like, "Wait, how do you even know that?" I remember, I don't know, it's been a long time ago, but I was at the mall with my cousin who's like 9. Or at that point, maybe he was younger. But anyways, I don't know, Macy's or some random store. And we're walking, my cousin's like running around. So he steps on this guy and I'm like, hey, say sorry. But anyways, the guy was like, I think I was talking to my cousin Amharic before that. So he kind of overheard because we were in the same vicinity. And he just turns and he's like, oh, chugrelo. Which means like, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah. But in Amharic, and I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And then he told me how he was in the Peace Corps and did that and that. But and he speaks like another local language, like from another, because he was stationed in some, like outside of the city. So, it's one of those moments. I mean, not that we're friends with that person. I've never seen him ever again. Yeah. But for that moment, it was like, wow, like this is impressive. And it's random, like, the most strangest person I can meet.
I feel like I've felt that sentiment a little differently though.
No.
Where it's like, now we're talking English. I'm like, wait a minute.
What do you mean?
No, I mean to say like with things.
No, talking English.
Yeah, no, like with the example you gave, I don't know, but I think one of those things like early on, like just coming to the States where it's like, as you said, like
they didn't think you can speak English?
For some reason,
for real? I was joking. Wait, what?
I mean, I think to an extent.
When did you come to the States? Wait, didn't you say English is your first language and you couldn't speak any other language?
I mean, it is, but like it's one of those things where it's like.
I mean, what did you do to throw off this person? And like.
No, I guess it's one of those things where, firstly, my name throws people off. Yeah. So like, Nkosinati, firstly, isn't a name that like you've heard, and then now I guess out of that it's like where you from, and it's like, oh, Malawi.
But you're talking in English.
Yeah, I'm talking in English.
Okay.
But I feel like the assumption is these are like responses you could have learned, like, as a tourist going. If I was going to France, I would probably learn a couple of vocab if I was going to be there for a minute type of situation.
But you have to understand the question to respond with those phrases.
Exactly.
You can't decide like a one-word.
Yeah, like crash course type of situation, And
I'm so curious.
Think you have never experienced that?
Someone assuming I can't speak English?
Okay, no.
Never.
Not assuming you can, but like assuming you can't speak it like that well.
Oh, you get those like, oh, you speak so well. Or
exactly.
Okay, that's different from like the person not like assuming that, not thinking that you can speak English. Like that's a different.
I think it's one of those things where it's like if you see from like I know I have friends from like other like Asian countries where it's like English, they have to like take a course for like 6 months, and then now it's when they get like enrolled into like school and stuff like that. So I think the assumption is like, oh, you kind of had to go through that too. And maybe you're still going through that, but like here you are, because I mean, life goes on. You're not confined into like a space to learn. Like you'd still, be going to places, meeting people and stuff. So I guess it's just one of those things where like later on it's like, I'm holding like a conversation and they're like, surprised. So the reason why I bring this up is with the way you said you were surprised, like,
yeah,
when you responded.
Oh, so I'm like, tell me.
Do they feel that same way too? Like, oh,
I've taken this too extreme.
It's possible. They're like, wait a minute. You talk like me.
But you know what? With accent, right? You know what I realized? Because I get those questions sometimes. And I'm like, I mean, I studied my secondary school English.
Yeah.
But I also reflect and think about, okay, how was my schooling, right? And because our education
in
system,
comparison to like everyone else who goes through the system, or
I would say like, I don't know
because your case is
gonna
peculiar,
sound, but people like Ethiopians who, born and raised, grew up in Ethiopia, and then graduated high school, which is my journey, right? And then at that stage, like once you were there, if you take that population and like assess the English level, I would say I still fall under like a specific category. I don't think we all sound the same. And I reflect back to the schooling. I went to a decent school, but I think about the moments that I've learned English. Because we take English as a foreign language until like 6th grade. So everything is taught in Amharic. Like we have an Amharic class, but we also learn math and science and whatever in Amharic. Yeah. And then you get to 7th grade and now everything switches. Like it becomes English. But all the professors or teachers that we had at that level until 12th grade, they have a specific accent, which I don't have. But then I was like, oh, so I've learned it from
What
teachers.
accent is that though?
I mean, you can call it the Ethiopian English accent, I guess, but it's hard to say because for us, because that's not.
Is it the one at the airport or different?
What do you mean the one at the airport?
I'm just asking.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, that's okay. Fair.
The one at the airport. Oh my gosh, that's okay. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, well,
and like Compete's whole like airline.
Yeah.
Flight stories.
Okay, not like on the flight, but like.
You mean like the flight attendants or the pilots?
Like, I think maybe because it's like at the airport when you're like interacting with people like more, like, asking for directions and like.
I mean, I don't know who you come across, but let's just say.
Okay.
Let's just categorize that as the average Amharic accent for an English language. I don't even know if that's
accurate.
Amharic accent. No, maybe Ethiopian accent, like an Ethiopian English accent.
Oh, Ethiopian English.
Okay, it's getting complicated. But what I'm trying to get at is I reflect back to how our teachers say certain things or like how I learned it. And I'm like, I think we're really influenced by the movies that we watch or the music that we heard.
Oh, that's why yours is different from...
I'm not just saying just me, but most like people,
yours,
who sound like me or who sound
closer,
not the average.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I've never actually like reflected on like, oh, where did I pick this specific accent? Because I have like a mix of things that come out. But anyways, I have a mix of accents and it just formed its own thing that can't be categorized.
Has that like changed over time, like now?
I don't think so. It's always been constant. But I tell people, oh yeah, I mean, I went to school learning English and then I did my undergrad here and they're like, oh,
that explains.
I was like,
no,
what
I
sounded the same.
Yeah.
I sounded the same. So obviously I think exposure like might have affected it, but for me I think I sound the same. But yeah, it was just interesting. I was like, I think it's all these random Tyra Banks shows like Oprah. I can't even remember the TV shows I used to watch, but like different weird things we've watched growing up that influenced it. And I think that was like, oh, I think I can pin it on that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I feel like we've talked about language the most.
Yeah, because I feel like
it's an indication that I think that's been the it.
Yeah, we've drilled it down. It's just that like I'm trying to think of like Malawians I've met like in the diaspora, specifically like in Ghana and the US. Because I'd say South Africa I was young and wasn't really intentional about like networking, if I should call it, type of situation. But I would say when I went to Ashesi, there was only one other Malawian at the school at the time. And I think I would see it a lot with people from Zimbabwe because they would come in numbers. Like one cohort, there'll be like 10 people. And then Malawi, there's just 1 or 0 type of situation. I started learning Shona. Like, I could hear Shona now. Wow. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before I start commenting in conversations. Just drop it there. Muribo, and then it's like, yeah. But I think it's one of those things where... And I think maybe people don't get too surprised when I throw in like some Shona words because I'm from Malawi and it's kind of close to Zimbabwe. But I would say like...
I think sometimes it's also like slangs. Like if you pick up those, like that's
those
know how
like
people
the ones
learn.
I like actually.
The ones what?
I like picking up the slang.
Yeah, I think that gets you closer to being a local. So even if like you don't know the language too well, if you know a few slang words,
like okay.
People, I feel like that's a trick to learning, or like not learning the language, but just like knowing a few. If you only know like 5 words from a specific language, you should know like 3.5 words of like slangs, and then half a word of an actual word, and then 1 curse word.
Well, curse words go hard. Like you wouldn't wanna learn.
But I think those have been, because I haven't done that. Yeah. But every time I meet someone, that like if they don't, like a person who doesn't speak Amharic or not, from like Ethiopia, for example, but they'll be like, oh, I know a word, and they'll throw like a curse word. It'll throw me off, but it's a fun thing. Like I was like, what? Like how did you do not say that, especially in front of moms or in front of, you know what I mean? But I think it's a cool
way to learn.
It's a cool thing. I've seen it a few times, and I was like, oh, but I've never learned a curse word
in
other languages.
No,
I mean, my language, unfortunately, I kind of know them.
But I feel like it's also like, as you said, because the person said it to you and you know what it means, the person saying it doesn't hold as much weight,
sometimes they even butcher the word. It's not even like... it doesn't mean anything to them. Sometimes they might even forget what it means, or they don't even know what it means.
Because I've seen people in Malawi who like, they'll be having a conversation in English and then just curse in Chichewa because they know that one is gonna hit. That one's gonna hit home. That one's gonna hit home. So it's like,
that's the thing about language. It's like you speak all you want in English, but then you find that Habesha person, and you're like, okay, let me switch code here, and say it as it is.
That makes sense. But yeah, I would say language does seem to play a pivotal role. But I'm just trying to see, like, if I've ever encountered a situation where someone I never expected to speak Chichewa spoke Chichewa. I think the thing that impressed me was, I've seen some people like say Mulibanji, like the greeting and, Ziko Mo. It's just one of those things where I was impressed when, this was actually here when I was still in school. Like, I met this other guy, and like when people talk of Malawi, they only talk of like Lilongwe because it's the capital. If it's not Lilongwe, someone may bring up Blantyre because it's like the commercial city. But now this guy started mentioning places like Nkatabe, which is like you have to go there to like know it. Yeah, it's not like it's on the map, but it's like not. It's those places, because it's just by the shore. He even mentioned like Likoma Island, like he went to the island. That was like really nice to see. And he has like this whole book that like, has recipes for like indigenous cuisines in like different African countries. And he's like, yeah, I actually cooked this kolowa. I was like, wow. He's even like, okay, I guess it's language again. He's using the names of like, kolowa. It's like, yeah,
but let's say it with the same passion.
I would say I was impressed, like honestly. So I guess it's also like, people showing that like they went there and they were interested in the people, which could like stem from either them being intentional about learning how to converse with the people, or just being intentional about seeing places.
We've kind of agreed that language seems to be the number one thing. But, okay, maybe not the number one, but like high on the list.
Yeah, high on the list.
But I also gave that example of, okay, now I'm in a room full of diverse demographics, but I spot my Africans. I mean, English, obviously, like English, probably everyone in the room speaks English. So now language is not the main thing that is...
Here, the context is that you're in the States, or...
Yes.
Cool. Nah, because I was like, there's some francophones and stuff.
Okay, but like still in the US. Or like in this setting, I'm just like talking about maybe like tomorrow there's an event.
Okay,
that's not a good example. Yesterday there was an event and it's a diverse setting.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I now identify like Africans and maybe approach them first before the rest of the crowd It's not for language, because obviously English is the common language there. So now that language is not the main thing, you said food, but I don't think it's also food in that setting, because maybe it's one of those American parties with just like snacks and there's no food. So food is
I think the food comes after identifying.
Okay,
like,
I mean food. I think we can even put it as like a very international thing that you can like relate with anyone over food.
With anyone, break it down.
Like I can go to, I was gonna name names, but I can go to like a colleague.
Yeah.
Let's just say an American colleague and be like, oh, what'd you bring for lunch? And we talk about food and maybe what she cooked and like recipes or what her favorite thing to make is, or I don't know, like just, I don't know if that's like the sense you talked about, but food.
I think for me, it was the sense of like relating on it.
Yeah, I relate about my recipes.
No, but like with their recipes.
Yeah.
Which may be different from your recipe.
Yeah, that's fine.
It comes more from like a education perspective, like learning like, oh, I never knew you can mix this and this, and you've made a lovely dish. But I think now it's like you and the other person can like actually be like, yo, this spice,
Yeah.
is hitting home. I think for me, from the food perspective, is more or less like,
now it has to be a common spice, or
not a common spice. The spice was an example.
Okay.
But like the dish itself, right? Where it's like, like, bro, where do you get your
I think we're aligned. We're aligned in the sense that that can be a fellow African, but that can be another person that you're just giving the example of, like the type of conversation you're gonna have with.
Yeah.
It's like maybe the second thing, or like once you've but like once you've created that bond with that person, it's like, oh, let's check out this restaurant, or like talk about food or relate over food. But okay, now we're still at that first scene at that specific like gathering.
Interesting.
And you went to that, maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's like one person. And why that person versus everyone else in the room? Dressing?
Not
the way
salad.
they're dressed?
Yeah.
Or like a salad dressing? I'm confused because we're talking about food. The way they're dressed?
Okay, I'm kidding. I think
okay. I was like,
more or less like, I was going to say like the way they appear.
You have to be more specific, because the way they appear, how?
I would say for me, I go off complexion. No, I'm just saying, like, in this case, like, as you say, there's no language, there's nothing to go off of, like, what's going to make me walk up.
Complexion was a very fine line. Not complexion.
Fine line.
Yeah, it's like, what are you trying to say with complexion? Let's not say complexion, but you're saying, like, if you can tell the person's African.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not necessarily complexion.
But, like, how else do you tell?
You can tell from the way they look.
That's why I said appearance.
Appearance is...
the way they look.
Okay, exactly. But maybe it's in my head. Like, appearance is like... Okay, let's just say we understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's what I would go off of.
Yeah, but I mean, what about that? Like, that's what I'm trying to get. I mean, I wasn't trying to assess, like, how do you identify an African person from another person. It was like, why the African person? Like, we
like why?
them. Yeah. Because we're trying to rule out. Remember, we said language, we said food, but like now we're still going to this person, even knowing that in my case, like language is not
there yet. I feel like you have the answer, and you're like,
I honestly don't.
Cool.
I honestly don't. But I know that's the case, so I'm trying to.
Is the case like natural instinct?
It is natural instinct, but is there more to that natural instinct? Like, why? Because it's just like people like
I feel like it depends. So, like, given the context of like the setting and you've identified, I guess it depends. Like, for me personally, like, if they seem like actively involved in the event, like, I don't know, if they seem to like.
You're bringing another layer to this, which. Okay, they might be organizing an event. That's like a different...
Not like organizing, but like maybe they already know a lot of people. For me, like if the person doesn't seem like they're looking to like socialize outside of the social circle they already have, I feel like even in that setting, I may not approach them.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair point, but also it's like another aspect to their identity. Because I feel like we can just keep the situation neutral. Like, let's pretend that they're not giving off, like, oh, I don't want to socialize.
Yeah.
Or they're not, like, looking super occupied. Or they're not, like, let's not add...
I would say maybe, like, an interest to know them and to find out whether our experiences have crossed paths. So, like, you know, as you said earlier, like, you told them, you know, who you are, where you're from, and seeing, like, where they're from, and seeing whether there's, like, you know, some common ground from there, or, like, maybe you visited or you have a friend from there, and, like, just, I think maybe because there's a higher chance of finding a common ground with that person, you're more inclined to strike a conversation with that person despite other people being in the room.
I agree. That was easy, right?
That was
yeah, I think so. Like, I was trying to just reflect on the times that, I mean, especially if you're abroad, especially if you're like in a city or a country where there aren't like a lot of African people, or like maybe a lot of Habesha people, you see like one.
I like the way you differentiate.
No,
you get.
I wasn't like trying to think about DC. Like, there are settings in my mind that I'm not saying out loud that makes it sound weird. But like, if you go to DC, there's a lot of Habesha people, so it's like nothing new. Like in Phoenix, if I see a Habesha person, I was like, oh my gosh, let me go say hi. Or you identify the person, you like approach them because you, like you mentioned, like you already know. I mean, like, this is very close, but you already identify the person and you know you're gonna have, or you assume that you would have a lot of things.
Good assumptions.
Yeah, mostly they are fair assumptions. Maybe you approach the person, they're like, oh, I'm not African. You know?
Yeah, I think you just continue like, where you from? You know, like,
do you get that one?
Nah, I mean, I don't know. I think for the most that like I've interacted with, even though maybe they weren't born in Africa, they like try to show that they have an association.
You're saying
or like
they're African, but first gen, like if they're born here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
they don't
even
count?
different.
Oh.
I mean, no.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I didn't say that. I'm saying, like, what if they're not African at all?
Oh, at all.
What I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I think you just strike the conversation to what state you're from, or I actually visited, or I haven't visited, or
it's like a reverse
now
thing.
Now you start talking about schools, or
it's the reverse setting where here they'll talk about
the weather.
No.
Oh no.
You're like in a random conversation with a stranger. They're like, "Oh, where are you from?" Be like, "Oh, I'm from Phoenix," and they're trying to understand which African country you came from.
Exactly.
Like, but where are you from? Like, oh, yeah, I used to live in North Carolina.
Like,
and
then, they keep digging.
Where you from?
Where you from? I think for me, it's just one of those things where I guess it's like originally or currently, like, you know, like what do you want to know?
Yeah.
Where am I from, like originally, or where am I from?
There's a post I saw. It's like, do you want to know where I was born in, where I grew up in, where I lived in, where I was raised in?
Yeah. Well, people have to start asking specific questions, you know.
Yeah.
I think next time I'll just be like, where you from? From home. I'm from home. From home. From my house. Yeah, from the gym. Yeah, I was like, where you from? From the gym. So I'll be wow. I'll be like, wait,
sometimes I'm stubborn with that response. Sometimes I give in to stuff. If I feel like it's like,
like, do I give off the gym accent? Yeah, like, spot me.
Yeah, like, what are the identifiers?
True. But yeah, it's interesting. Just coming to think of it, like, I don't know. Like, now I've actually just thought of it, like, even at church, you know, where it is very diverse, and even with that diversity, when it comes to like getting to know new people, I think I'm more inclined to like applying the same strategy subconsciously. You know, like I saw this other guy. He's actually from Uganda, and I don't know. I said hi to him. You know,
Like, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. But I said hi to him, and
Nobody.
he then introduced me to like some of these other buddies, and you know, and in as much as Malawi, Uganda don't really have a lot in common, but it was just one of those things where I think because I have Ugandan friends, right, I was able to leverage that and like actually like have a full blown conversation because I guess just off of like the Ugandan friends I have, it's like I know the food they eat, I know, you know, what living there is like, and then just bringing that to like how living here is like, and also like how living in Malawi is like, and then you see, so it's just one of those things where I never really thought of it that way, but I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow again. But
Searching. I think, I mean, this is not news.
It's not news.
No, what I'm gonna say.
Oh, cool.
It's not like, but I just, it's part of like the reflection, and I think it's because it's gonna sound like I'm trying to do a whole revelation, but it's actually like just being on a foreign land. I think that's like what brings like all of this. I don't know. For me, that just made sense right now in a way. Very late to the game, but it's like even when you talk to other people, you wouldn't. When I say other people, like in this,
like we're like, all for it. So it's like that's
no, like yeah. Even I think that's one thing we didn't touch on. Like there's like an African group that you associate with, but it's like international people.
Exactly.
I relate with international people.
Yeah.
Like regardless of where they're from, and I think that's like your commonality and like what you like. You know, stick to somehow because they understand like that's something you can't explain. You can't.
They know the visa types.
You know the struggles. We're already like I think struggles bring people together, and you see it like they're like let's talk about this for a second. Like everyone's on the same page. That's true. So just being like a foreigner, I think brings a lot of these like nuances, like be it language. Food,
do you think
culture.
That experience is similar in like different
countries?
I
would think so. Like even that's why like one of my memories would like when I traveled to Japan and I saw a Senegalese person, an African person, but later on found out that he was Senegalese. Yeah. That was like, Japan, there are no black people. Yeah. Like to start with, right? So by the virtue of like looking at a black person and then I can tell the person was African. So I was like, it was like as if we know each other. Like we're like, oh my gosh, like hi, like where you from? So like just being a total foreigner and you can tell like we're both not from here. We sat down and spoke for a good like 40 minutes. Wow. And like hung out like the following day and stuff. But this is to say like I think it holds true for a lot of countries. Like whatever, like even foreigners when they travel to to the continent and like you find them in Malawi and they're speaking like Sichu or whatever. Like that's even like, the common ground. So they're in a new land, so they're open to like foreign experiences. I think that's what you don't find by default here. So if I see a random American, like I can't tell unless I get to know them. I can't tell like how open they are to learning like new cultures and like maybe learn more about me or like are they even interested? There's a lot that you don't know. So you don't find out until you get to know the person and you might do like in different avenues. But from the get-go, like when you see an African, you're like, this person, we know. So I think even what I find that if they're not, like let me just call them local. If I find myself relating with a local, it's mostly because they're either well-traveled, not necessarily like well-traveled, but at least understand how other cultures exist and are open to learning, and they're not like very, focused on like one thing and like one way of doing things or like.
And bringing you onto that one thing. Yeah,
like if they're open, I think that's been the most like, easiest interactions I've had with locals. Is whenever they're like interested to learning more about what's here.
That totally makes sense. And I think it's something that like we tend to overlook or like not really process I think for me, it was just, I don't know exactly. Because now I'm like even thinking of like the people I've like come to meet like at ASU on campus, where it was like, the person was Habisha, but like we're still drawn, we're still drawn together. So it's like one of those things where I feel like, not to say that like I don't strike conversations with like people from here, like on the get go, I do, but I feel like it feels more out of my comfort zone when I do. As it gets, even though approaching people is generally out of my comfort zone, but the other one feels a bit more comfortable. It doesn't feel like.
Okay, I digress. I'm gonna throw in one thing that's super random.
Drop it.
Remember when I think we saw the same real meme, I don't know, post, of the
Was
blankets.
it the slow one?
No, the blankets.
Oh yeah.
With the tigers
with
and
the
the
tigers and
flowers.
flowers.
I think it's also like those shared experiences and references. Here, like when you're at the workplace and they talk about like, oh, the candy brand.
Yeah, like what's your worst Halloween candy?
Yeah, those moments are like,
yeah,
I can't relate.
Yeah,
or so that makes it harder to easily engage in like conversations or relate with that person. But just by virtue of being international, like I didn't think that blankets was such an international thing. And then I was like, the person who posted it was like Indian or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, that blanket is in my household back home.
It's crazy.
So, it's also like references and those shared things that without knowing, just they exist in our households. Or, our parents act the same way. Or you find those things that you're like, oh my God, that just makes sense.
I think things that we never like question, or like certain things that are like, you think only happen like where you're from type of situation, because I guess it's one of those things where, later on I'm like, because I think even like the whole blanket thing, those blankets are like from South Africa. Like we don't make them in Malawi.
I wonder who makes them.
So I was like,
do you think South Africans make them?
Yeah, South Africa, it's big there.
Do you think they come to Ethiopia from South Africa?
Would have to check the brand. Yeah, but I know
I won't
South
be surprised
Africa,
if it's like from India. I won't be surprised, and maybe like South Africa imports them. And
they just distribute.
Because how is it that it's also Indian?
It's crazy. Yo, those things are warm.
Those things are the best.
You don't even need those weighted blankets.
Those things are the best. You don't need anything else.
I was talking to someone recently, and we're talking about like, is it making a sandwich and then like adding avocado in it, and then adding like powdered milk. Yeah, and then like
I don't know.
Yeah, but like I think
a thing you do.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where I'm not sure if it's something that like people do generally.
Yeah.
But like I think I don't know if it's coming from like maybe being in boarding school where it's like you just take what you have and make the most of it, and you're like, oh, this works type of situation.
For us, it's bread with bananas.
Bananas. Yeah. Wow.
It's like a survival meal. No, he's probably like sliced them.
Oh, you sliced them.
Yeah. You don't do that?
Interesting. No, I've never had bread and bananas. Bread and bananas. What do you bread and bananas?
Somalis.
It's a common?
I mean, I won't be surprised because apparently they add bananas and everything. I think they even eat it with chicken.
What? Wait, like
we need to fact check this, but I know they eat bananas like with every thing.
It's like treated like plantain-ish, or is it?
Yeah, but it's not fried or anything. It's like
raw. Wow.
Raw. I mean, it's okay.
I mean, it's. No, I was thinking of plantain. Like you can't like eat those as it is.
It's not a false banana.
But yeah, I feel like we're actually doing all right. I mean, Jesus was eating bread and fish. Like, I've never done that. You've had bread and fish? Okay, not tuna, but like fish.
Yeah, that's...
You have bread and fish?
Bread and fish, like, as a sandwich?
As for breakfast, I don't know. As
fish
a meal.
It has the most protein and...
With
fish
bread?
Is my jam. With bread? I mean, you can have bread on the side.
No, on the side, like as a sandwich. I don't know how they used to eat it, though. Or maybe their bread wasn't like slices. It was just like the loaf and
like
this
a fish sandwich.
Fish sandwich. Yeah. That was like the meal, the go-to. That's the go-to. It's like fine dining. Yeah. But and I think that's why for me personally, maybe that's why I thought of food, because of like these experiences that I've consciously maybe like had conversation with someone, and it's like centering around like maybe certain foods they ate growing up, or like just stemming off like their staple. It's been a bit hard relating with like my association, like my Nigerian association, for the most part, because it's like they have a plethora of dishes, like
in terms of food.
yeah, and it's one of those
Or
things
also in
where
terms
it's like
of other things.
yeah, and it's like very hard to like, because they'll be like, yeah, we eat that, but only in the north, like like a very small
very
segment,
specific.
very specific.
Yeah.
Say like, okay, so someone from like Lagos wouldn't have tried this, but they do have like other dishes, which I think maybe like my experience in Ghana has made me like see that overlap ish between like Nigerian foods, but like I would say it's just one of those things where it's fascinating to see how people are like really open to like exploring, like combining this
Fusion.
and that, and seeing. I had I don't know what the name is, but it's like boiled eggs. You slice it and then you put pepper inside, and then you like it's like a egg pepper sandwich. No, like
It's a Ghanaian thing.
yeah, nah, it's Nigerian, I think. Yeah, because it was a Nigerian friend of mine who made it. But it's like you boil the eggs, you peel the shell off, obviously, and then you slice it like in the middle, and then you like make pepper, like hot spicy stuff.
And you piece it together.
And then so now you just close the other one on top,
Yeah.
like a sandwich. Those things are good. Yeah, it was one of those things where like I was like, who even thought of this? Yeah.
I mean, back home we kind of do like we do the same thing. We don't like slice them. We actually slice them.
Yeah.
Like slice the boiled egg.
Yeah.
And you have like powdered like spice, like very spicy, and you just like dip and eat. Kind of stuff.
Yeah, our spice is salt and pepper.
All right, I think we've drilled it down to a few things.
Primarily language.
I think primarily like being international. I think now it topped it. It really topped it.
Okay, but like, what do you think it's like within the country?
Within the country?
Yeah.
It's gonna get political.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, but I mean, not necessarily like political, but I'm trying to find like a politically correct way of saying it, because I think we have a lot of ethnicities, and I want to say like that plays in a little bit of how you relate to one another, especially like in recent days and like after a lot of tribulations. But like growing up, when I went to high school, you wouldn't know where someone is from, because the city's like very camouflaged, and everyone is like, your parents are from different ethnicities, so you don't necessarily like identify with something. Yeah. So because of that, I don't think I've related with someone based on that. But in recent days, especially as you grow older, you see what people associate with the most, or like put ethnicity before other things. So it's been an interesting thing to just like witness. But that one is gonna need
because that one I'm trying to think, because it's like, okay, all of you guys eating the same stuff, all of you guys all of you guys, like all the things that like
same land, you like
like it's just
what now?
What now? Yeah, it's like what's making this person like still find those associations?
I think we
like,
need to
we need to dissect that.
Dissect it for sure.
Yeah, but thanks for tuning.
Yeah, this was much needed. Now I know how to approach people. Be like,
exactly.
Nope, not you, because I can tell you're not open to international people.
Just walk. Just have my flag like tattooed on me or something.
Just, be like, I'm African. Come talk to me.
I think my hair says African already. Like,
you know what? Scratch that. Yeah, just walk around.
Just walk around.
Be.
It's been amazing having you guys. And we want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think? Stands out? Like, whenever you find yourself in a different setting, and you probably don't know anyone in that setting. Like, what's the pull factor to, like, starting a conversation with someone?